That's good.
Are we going to try like last week? Like, it's last week, right? Everything today.
Are we going to keep it?
Yeah, what do we keep now?
I'll put it back in the bag.
Break.
Alright.
I forgot the
Boo!
Does anyone want to evaluate?
I'll take it.
Tell us real briefly what we're going to do.
I'm on Team Slack.
The cookies was just gonna be it was gonna be just a tie-in at the end to be like, okay, we weren't really gonna do anything with the cookies.
Oh, okay, so they were just a treat at the end.
Yes.
Are they
No,
crunchy or
it's a
chewy?
punchline. How do you make noise with the cookies?
That's what I don't know.
Or I crumble on, so you don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna play that Chips Ahoy commercial. You know?
Okay, guys, I want to hear good, constructive feedback. And yes, you can praise them, that's all fine and dandy, and we do a little bit of that too. But I need them to hear things they can improve on. Also focus on that. Let's go.
I like how y'all used adventure, like I said, we're your tour guides for this adventure. I thought that was really good. But I noticed that Adrian tended to call a lot more on our group, and especially John, I guess because he was making the most noise with his instrument. But you just kept going back to him, and you glance at their group, but come back to here. So maybe just like divide your attention.
I felt like the first, I don't know, 10 minutes or so were mostly you all talking.
It was cool though, the instruments and stuff, there was a lot of you guys discussing more than, you asked for some feedback, but I agree that it's, a lot.
I thought that trumpet player was a beast though. How much you're paying him.
Another thought I had was, before you move on to like if you're going to do door fiddle after we experiment with the instruments ourselves, have them put the items back in their bag before you start to talk again. Because I was tapping mine, and I know that we were all playing with our things, so I'm not really paying attention to you.
Right.
So we say, okay, go ahead and you got 30 seconds, put your stuff back in your bag, close it, and put it in front of you.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, because I missed the total introduction of the door fiddle.
I messed around here.
Don't mess around with stuff.
Completely. Yeah. Okay.
And another thing, I felt like maybe you guys, on that first one it was good. You guys did good and let us interact, explore a little bit and stuff. But I thought when you guys were asking questions about, I guess we were kind of slower too, but I felt like it kind of almost lingered in that section a little bit too long. No, this part, yeah, because I know, of course I know we're short on time because obviously can't get to everything. I don't know, I guess it let us progress the way we were progressing, so I don't know if you can do much about that or not.
Matthew, I haven't heard anything from
Two
you.
things. One, might be a good idea to tie in the Oz theme.
Time to what now?
The
The
Oz
Oz
theme,
theme, yeah.
get some capital off of that.
Oh, the Oz thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
And then, since we got passports and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, guitarist. Anyway, thing two is, I thought it was important when we first saw this lesson that the rubber band was different. And that sort of discord led into the tension exercise. Well, let's explore this thing that's different. And that was Edison.
I have one more thing that might just make sure they're getting the idea of pitch and volume at the beginning. Mix it up more.
Okay.
Go the extremes, like with high pitch, low volume, low pitch, high volume, and
Okay.
then a little bit in the middle, and then go back to something completely different.
Okay.
Just so that you know that they really get the difference
Okay.
between volume and pitch.
Okay. Just do it a little bit
Plus,
more.
it'll be a little more fun if your kids don't fall over like that.
Katie, what do you have to add?
Well, PowerPoint is really plain.
Yeah.
It doesn't really.
It's just black and white.
Yeah. Just call a spade, Katie. Tell them they need to jazz it up. Come on.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that one. Later. Now, I want.
Yeah, I don't really think you used your PowerPoint that much.
Yeah, well, that was the
And
thing.
plus, you weren't over there guiding yourself through it.
Yeah.
You had to run over there and be like, oh, okay, we already did that. And move on to
Yeah,
that.
well, see, and I spent all this time finding the actual picture of the guitar I was using, which was such a bummer. 'Cause I didn't use it.
You didn't use it, so. And it, in its entirety, just in front of you, is far more impressive than the picture.
Yeah.
So,
But
might
we
be a
might be able to
temptation to
Is the card idea, she's talking about the vocab cards,
Mm.
or even right on the board, pitch, volume.
Well, that's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I
That was
wanted to do.
the
And this
main
one was
thing.
like write out what pitch was, and then I left it up there on that slide just so everyone could understand. Because I understand sometimes when you say pitch, as soon as they don't,
Yeah.
they don't understand like exactly what pitch would mean. So that's
You
kind of
can
why I wanted to
always
leave it up there.
write
Maybe they
that on the
might.
board, you know?
Yeah. Well, I've left this up here so that they could see it. I'm not sure if that was enough as far as what we were doing. It may not have been if it wasn't like.
It didn't catch
Obvious.
Katie's eye, right? It wasn't anything that was.
No, we really didn't pay much
What's-
attention to it.
Well, to the.
The only thing was the high and the low was basically the instruction for that, but you guys told us, so.
Right.
But yeah, I agree, you really didn't teach much.
I thought that's why
you were over
Just curious.
What's that?
Well, this is a question, on pitch, at what grade level do we bring in, frequency and wavelength?
You have this
I think,
level,
yeah, I don't know about wavelengths, I do frequency wavelength, that,
just a little bit. I mean, they'll
six,
say it.
okay.
But a lot of times in
Maybe stick with
elementary,
pitch.
And
you
this is
get a
something
lot
they
of
teach,
vocab defined. You don't necessarily get an application of it, or very often demonstrations with it unless they have either some practical thing they've done with it, or some equipment, like tuning boards or something like that. Otherwise, a lot of times it's the chapter in the science book, and they've read and answered some questions, and maybe watched the video. And I'm saying that from experience with my daughter and son both going through elementary science. It makes me sad, but.
The kids that we're gonna see Friday, is it fairly safe to assume that these are the kids that are digging more because they're wanting to enroll in some program like this, or?
Some,
or
and
is
there'll
it
be others that
mom
their
and dad
parents
getting
are
rid of it for
looking,
the
well,
day?
they're looking for ways they have them
Keep them
engaged this
active.
summer and
Okay.
keep them active, so they may not necessarily have an inclination toward math and science.
Okay.
But several of them will. Some of them, and I think you'll have a smattering of ability levels too. Kevin, what else can you share with them?
I kind of had the same thing that Katie did with addressing our group and calling on, making sure you call on kind of everyone, all the students.
Barely use the cards.
Yeah, the car. I realized like after we were calling everybody, that the cars were sitting up there.
The thing was that I saw a lot of people doing like the same thing with the instruments over there, and you guys were the ones that kind of like did everything. But what I should have done was made sure they were playing with everything
Right.
instead, so that I knew that they had something.
But I think the note cards was a good strategy, because you're not gonna know, like, yeah, or where they're sitting. And because if you just give them a 2, but you don't write their name on it,
Right.
I think it's something you can use for at least the first part of your lesson too.
I did like, that you brought in a song that they would recognize.
Yes, that was good too.
Even though I didn't, but,
I didn't know it was, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, but still.
It's actually he didn't even say that was his favorite song, right?
That's our ringtone, man.
That's what work until midnight will do to you. Oh, Miley Cyrus, great idea in this lesson.
Pandora and Miley Cyrus.
Okay, we're to wrap up and move on.